Yo guys, what up? It is Kenny Mack and Kurt from Jersey, and we want to find out what's going on in the draft with the Dogs podcast. So what do we want, man? What are we gonna pick? Tate is Aka's great. Yeah, go Dogs.
Welcome to the Dogs podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
Hey, what's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Dogs podcast. Josh All, and I've got Kenny Mack on the show with me today.
Let's go, baby.
That's right. Today we are doing an episode that we really like to do every offseason, ramping up for the draft. You know, we are within, what's today, March 23rd when we're recording this. April 23rd is when things kick off for the NFL draft. So we're there. We're a month away. It's time to really hone in on these draft prospects and what the Cleveland Browns could be doing at the end of the month in April. And today, we're going to do dueling mock drafts. We've done this before. It's been a ton of fun. So we've got, coming up here, 2 draft boards side by side. They're going to each be run independently of each other. So what's going to happen is Kenny, since he is hosting this show with me today, I'm going to give him first dibs. He's going to make the first pick at 6, and then on my draft board, after Kenny's done, I'll make my pick at 6. And we will go back and forth like that throughout the entire mock draft. And at the end, we'll put both of our results up, and you guys can vote, can let us know who had the better mock draft. One of the main rules of this mock draft, this dueling battle back and forth, is we can't pick the same player at the same pick. So for instance, if we get to 6 and Kenny's like, hey, I love Jordan Tyson, I'm taking him at 6, and he takes Jordan Tyson at 6. I can't do that. I can't take Jordan Tyson. But if we get to 24 and on my board, Jordan Tyson's still available, I could take him at 24. So that's how this thing is going to operate. Follow along in the comments. Let us know what you guys are thinking as we make each pick. Before we dive into it, go to jointhedogs.com if you want to be part of our Dog Pack Discord community. Hang out in there with the diehard Browns fans. Kenny, myself, Blake, Justin, everybody that you guys hear on the show, leaving voicemails when we do the Discord Dog Pack Lives. You can be part of those as well. Get on the show, talk to us, ask questions, and we just love meeting everybody and hearing from everybody. So that is jointhedogs.com. All right, Kenny, was there any groundwork you wanted to lay before we get started on this battle royale?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate, the times I've been on the podcast here, I just always looking for what the Browns are telling me in their pressers and if they're kind of aligned. And the things that I find that they're aligned about is just high effort players, mental toughness, football intelligence, situational reliability, which we didn't see much of last year, versatility and adaptability, accountability, coachability, processing speed, leadership traits, and work ethic. And that's a ton of stuff, but really what we're talking about: effort, execution, intelligence, and versatility. The biggest thing I would say, though, if you take a look at the roster, there are some obvious needs, right? So, I mean, take a look at our receiver core. I mean, I don't think we had really anybody over 60 PFF grade-wise receiving, right? And left tackle, I would say, is a gaping hole right now. That's something we don't have. Safety talent. If you look at our starters right now, and then you look at the bench guys, I think there's a big gap between that. And with Andrew Berry, I think defensive tackle is always on the table. Nickel corner or slot, like that's huge, man. I don't think we have something right now, and we need some tight end depth. Somebody in between Fannin and Stoll. And then last but not least, I think we need a little bit more offensive line depth to create competition. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. I don't know if you had any particular traits or anything that you had, but.
I mean, basically everything you laid out is exactly what I'm looking for. And as we go deeper into the draft, I know there's been talk about should the Browns take a late round flyer on one of these quarterbacks or whatever. And I know I've done like a Cade Klubnik in the 6th round of a mock draft in the past. But if we're in rounds 3, 4, even 5, I'm not really wanting to take a flyer on a mid-round quarterback who might come in here and just be the QB3 at best when we need so much depth, especially Even if we're not talking this guy's going to be the immediate backup at a safety position, I need guys to help me on special teams with those picks. Absolutely. A QB3 does nothing for me. That is a bench rider, a practice squad guy who's never going to contribute to this team on the field on Sunday in any way, shape, or form, barring injuries and catastrophic situations that come up for this team. So no, miss me with the mid-round quarterback crap, and let's get depth for this roster because we need, like you said, Kenny, just need so much.
Yes, with a quarterback, I mean, set him up for success because that's what we did not do last year.
Yes, exactly. And I still think that right now, I mean, the plan is Shedeur Sanders until they tell me otherwise. They've made no moves. They've made no indication that they are planning to do anything other than see what Shedeur can do in 2026. And I'm excited for it. And I don't think Deshaun Watson is a serious part of the competition. I mean, he's there, so he has to be. I think he's necessary because you can't get rid of him right now. But this is it. This is the final year, so I don't see them dealing with him beyond 2026.
I agree.
Okay. All right. So, again, we'll dive into this dueling mock draft like I mentioned before. Drop your thoughts and opinions in the comments as we go through each pick. You can let us know at pick 6. Whose pick did you like better at 24, so on and so forth. And at the end, you guys get to vote and see who came away with the best results from this exercise. So, Kenny, you ready to get started?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see what we got here.
All right, so we'll go to the draft board here. I'm going to click start. My draft board will be on the left-hand side of the screen. Kenny's draft board will be on the right-hand side of the screen. So we'll hit start for both of these and let the draft roll us into number 6. Okay, like I said, another rule, we're going to decline all these trade proposals that come in. No trades today on our dueling mock draft. Maybe we'll do something like that in the future. If we do another one of these, maybe we'll include some of these trades that pop up from the computer. And one last thing I forgot to mention before we make our first picks here at 6, we're only doing the first 7 picks for the Browns. So we're not going to do the 6th or 7th round picks because you have no idea. The Browns are probably going to use those in trades to position themselves differently here or there, maybe collect some capital for next year, whatever. So I'm not too worried about the 6th or 7th round picks. But Kenny, on the right-hand side, your draft board, pick number 6, where are you going?
Oh boy, I can see both boards obviously, and we got Carnell Tate on both those boards. And you know what, dude? We've been saying it. This time I'm going to go with him, and just because we've been saying it, I know it's kind of like beating a dead horse, but I want somebody that I can sign to a second contract. And I've been saying receiver. OT receiver, and I know you're going to get into your episode next week about like other possibilities. Let's not go for the other possibilities because I got to remain true and say like, don't overthink it. I'm not going to overthink it. I think he can be a blue chip player for us. Do I think he can be a true number 1? I'm not sure, but ultimately fills a need, and he's a guy that he fits the Browns extremely well. I don't think he's not a gimmick guy, and but he's got more polish, he's got more body control, and he understands coverages. Like, this guy can always get open. So for Shedeur Sanders, for Todd Monken, I mean, he's a guy that projects to win based on precision. He projects to win on body control, and that body control can lead to lots of contested catches that he can get. Awareness of his leverage, that helps him get open on routes. Dependability in the intermediate game, which I don't think we really had. If you take a look at the way the Browns are and what their offense did, Shedeur either threw long or he threw short, and he can get open intermediately, and hopefully the play action game will help, and getting open intermediately will help us on third down conversion. So if he can basically line up, he can get where he's supposed to be. He adjusts very well to coverage, and I'd be happy to have this dude on my team. Super reliable receiver, and he's pretty explosive as far as breaking in and out of his routes. I know a lot of people are kind of down on his 4.5 at the combine, but I don't care, man. The guy gets open and he can play. So let's not overthink it. Let's get this receiver on our team. Let's go Carnell Tate. Tate, make us great. Let's go.
Love it, dude. And that's exactly who I would have picked here as well if I was going first for this pick. The 4.5 speed thing is a joke. I think people are, if that's what they're basing their evaluation on, then they just don't understand how football operates and what traits and things translate from college to the NFL. Who else ran a 4.5 40 at the combine? Guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown, Puka Nacua, Jackson Smith and Jigba was no speedster. How about CeeDee Lamb ran like a 4.56? So can you get, and this is why I do believe that Cardinal Tate can be a wide receiver 1 for his team, whoever drafts him, because of the way he gets open. It's with his route running, it's with nuance, it's with attention to detail, and it's with manipulating the defenders. All those things translate to the NFL. Pure speed, if you're beating people and creating separation with pure speed in college, that gap shrinks in the NFL because the corners 100%. And the defenders in the NFL are so much faster than in college. So if you're only winning with speed, or that's your main way to win, you're putting yourself at more of a disadvantage going to the NFL. If you know how to win by putting doubt into a defender's head, that will translate to the NFL. So Carnell Tate, I think that's a great pick, Kenny. I'm kind of sad I let you go first because that's who I would have taken, but it does give me an opportunity here on my draft board to do something a little bit different. So if I scroll down here, yep, right there, projected at pick 12, and they've got the little Browns helmet next to him as the main team fit. It's Monroe Freeling. I know a lot of people out there saying, well, take Monroe Freeling, Josh. Kenny took Carnell Tate, but I'm looking at my draft board, and this is a conversation I really want to have with Justin as well, because I know Justin's really big on this kid. I don't think I can pass on Jeremiah Love if he's sitting there. I don't think I can do it. We're talking about first-team All-American, Doak Walker Award winner, best running back in the nation, Heisman Trophy finalist, finished third, Walter Camp Award, Maxwell Award. This guy averaged 6.9 yards per carry, 137.7 scrimmage yards per game. In 2024, he had 1,125 yards and 17 touchdowns, 25. He had 1,300, almost 1,400 yards and 18 touchdowns. He catches the ball. He scores receiving touchdowns. He's a scoring machine, and we know that sort of trait if you're able to find ways to score touchdowns in college, you can score touchdowns in the NFL. You're still going to be able to find ways to do that. And Jeremiah Love, to me, would be my Jahmyr Gibbs compliment to Quinshon Judkins, David Montgomery, but it would be a little bit more of an elite pairing than what the Lions had with those two guys, because Jeremiah Love grades higher as a prospect than Jahmyr Gibbs did coming in. And Quinshon Judkins, clearly a better NFL running back than David Montgomery. Not taking anything away from Monty, but Quinshon's younger and he's better. Coming off the injury, I do expect there to be some lacking explosiveness and effectiveness for Quinshon for at least the first half of the year. I know he'll be 100% cleared, but I don't think he's going to be 100% effective. And if you want to give the Browns an elite playmaker, we talk all the time, this team never has elite offensive weapons, on the roster. Well, this is the best overall offensive weapon in this draft class. Might be the best overall football player in this draft class. And if he doesn't go top 5, which I don't imagine he gets past the Titans or the Giants, because I think there's a lot of infatuation with those teams and Jeremiah Love. And if we don't take him, I think the Commanders are going to jump on him immediately after we pick. But if he's here and Carnell Tate's not available, I can't take him, then I'm going to take the running back out of Notre Dame.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's interesting because I thought if you were going first, I know you would pick Tate as well. Then I'm like, okay, well, who do I pick? Do I pick need or do I pick best player? Ultimately, it comes down to what I was saying originally, where it was like, who's going to get a second contract, right?
Right.
So it came down to Love, came down to Styles, and it came down to Caleb Downs. I think I would have went Caleb Downs, which would have maybe heads would have blown off because it's a defensive player. But he is ultimately, when you're saying Love is the best overall football player, this guy is too, but I do really like what you're saying about that tandem that the Detroit Lions had for the longest time. Love to see that in Cleveland. And us, we love a run game, right?
Oh, yeah. And I got to say this too real quick. If you're looking at, obviously, the top 6 or even just let's go top 10 picks in this year's draft, by the time the Browns are on the board, a lot of people talk about positional value and all that. So obviously I just took a running back. Again, I look at him more as an offensive weapon than just strictly a running back, because I think you can put him and QJ on the field at the same time as much as you want and run a whole lot of different looks and packages and things out of that. So that would be a lot of fun. But you're talking about a safety in Caleb Downs. Typically, they don't go top 5, top 6. We're talking about a linebacker in Sonny Styles. Typically, they don't go where we're talking in this range. So the blue chippers in this class, the best football players, the best players available in that top 10 are not your premium positions in this year's draft. So that's where there may be some hesitation, some conversations, serious conversations being had behind the war room doors. And I got to go back to your Carnell Tate pick real quick, because I've been saying this to some people. I don't know if Andrew Berry's got the stones to take a wide receiver at 6. I know it's a premium position and you need those guys. I look back at his track record over the last 6 years that he's been running this thing for Cleveland, and the biggest investment that he's put into that wide receiver unit was flipping a mid-second round pick for Elijah Moore and a third. That's it. Yeah. It doesn't seem like he takes the position seriously, even though it plagues us every year. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, I don't get the philosophy behind that. You need receivers. Look at what the Vikings did to us. They had 2 great receivers in London. They drove down the field and won the game. And we don't have that. We haven't had that. We've drafted twice, and Coleman and the kid from Michigan there. And you need to take more cracks at the can, man. At receiver, it's frustrating.
It really is frustrating, because then we get to the season, week 1 opens up and it's like, man, we don't have any freaking receivers on this team. Well, it's because we don't take them. We don't do anything about it in the offseason. It drives me nuts. But that was our picks at 6. Kenny goes Carnell Tate, the wide receiver from Ohio State. I went Jeremiah Love, the running back from Notre Dame. So now we move on here to pick 24. I'm going to go first this time. And my chalk pick at 24 is right there on the board. If you're just listening to the podcast, not watching, we've got left on the board right now is Kenyon Sadiq, tight end from Oregon, Dylan Thieneman, the safety from Oregon, Akeem Mesidor, edge rusher out of Miami, CJ Allen, linebacker from Georgia, Omar Cooper Jr., wide receiver from Indiana, is also here. I could go that route since I didn't take a wide receiver at 6. I could go Omar Cooper Jr. here, but I'm going to take Caleb Lomu, the left tackle from Utah. I just think, again, I've been saying this, if you want a pure, true, actual left tackle in this draft in the first round, you got 3 options. It's Monroe Freeling, it's Caden Proctor, and it's Caleb Lomu. And I know Lomu probably could have gone back to school and developed for another year. I think all these guys, all these 3 left tackles, are not polished. They're not ready to come in and be a high-end starter for you. They're going to start. I mean, if you draft a Monroe Freeling at 6, he's starting left tackle for you. Because who else do we have to put in front? We don't have a veteran to put in front of him. DeJuan Jones, okay, maybe for the first 3 weeks, then he's injured. Monroe Freeling's instantly the starter. Caden Proctor, same thing. Great traits, great athlete, got a lot of work to do in the development partner. I think Caleb Lomu is probably the furthest along in his development, but he's still got a ways to go. But again, if we're taking playmaker for offense at 6, I'm taking Caleb Lomu at 24. This episode is partnered with Kalshi. Browns fans, are you ready to put your money where your predictions are? With Kalshi, America's #1 regulated prediction market, you can legally trade on events that actually matter to you. And the best part is you don't need to predict specific stat lines and compile a 7-leg parlay just to win big. With Kalshi, the objective is either yes or no. Will Shedeur Sanders be the Browns' Week 1 starting quarterback? Will Fernando Mendoza be the first overall pick in the draft? Will the Browns make their pick at 6, or will they trade out of that spot? And in other sports, will the Cavs win the NBA Finals? You can put your money on these predictions and more with Kalshi. If you want to try it out, Kalshi is giving $10 to anyone who signs up at kalshi.com/dogs and trades $100. Get away from disadvantageous sports books and dive into real-world outcomes with real-time odds and real payouts. Head over to Kalshi, KALSHI.com/dogs, DAWGS, or just click the link in the description to get $10 when you trade $100 with Kalshi. Because why shouldn't you get paid for being right?
Yeah, man. That's a glaring need for us. I outlined that at the beginning of this show. We need more offensive linemen. I like what they did in free agency, but you need to create competition and see who could gel the best. And you just need more bodies in that room right now. And that's a great pick. Strong dude, man.
Yes. Yes, he is great athlete, high RAS score. Again, I feel like everybody who tests for the RAS seems to be, it's posted all over Twitter. Everybody's a 9.9 or higher, it seems like, but at least these guys are achieving those marks. Maybe we're just getting better as athletes coming out of college. But
like worst case scenario, you got a great athlete, right? Maybe he goes to guard, maybe he goes, you know what I mean? So that's kind of the way I see it. You just got a great athlete that you can throw on the offensive line, and it looks like something that can kind of fit in the zone blocking scheme with Moncton's offense.
Yep, absolutely. So pick 24, now your side of the board. Who, if you want me to scroll down, because I'm operating the board here, I can
just scroll down past Boston there. I'm thinking I was gonna bring the Cleveland kid Blake Miller in, is what I was gonna do.
Well, he's sitting there for you.
Yeah, let's take Blake Miller. I want a guy that says, I want a second premium value player, a clean schematic fit for the Browns. And I think he would be great as well in the run blocking scheme that they do. He's a high floor starter, and he's a player that's not too flashy. And, he's just a football player. And with this guy, Blake Miller, I really think he's like a strong execution fit. I will tell you one thing, though. He's like all the left tackles in this draft. I need another offensive lineman, like specifically a left tackle sign, like a Joseph Noteboom or somebody that can provide some depth, because I got to develop this guy. And, he's got great pass protection maturity. There's something about him that I read that he really can situationally handle or change things on the fly. And I think that's a great attribute to have, and you can't always teach that. He's got great recovery ability due to that, and his stunt recognition is really good. And he's been on an upward development trend. So this guy screams coachability, mental reliability. This matters a lot on the offensive line, more than people realize. He feels like a Browns type. Maybe I'm just thinking that because he's from the area, but I think he can be a clean cut starter just based on his strength. He's fast enough. He's big enough. I think he's just one of those guys that's just a try hard, high floor dude that can last for a while.
Yeah, I like that pick. And I know you're talking about left tackle, but he played right tackle at Clemson. So are you thinking of trying to convert him over to the left side of the ball, or left side of this?
Yeah. So basically with him, I just think he's, with his ability, he can probably play both sides actually, but I want him at a left tackle. Okay.
So we're taking Blake Miller here. I'm just kind of pulling up some PFF stuff. Let's see. He had 529 pass blocking snaps in 2025, gave up just 14 pressures, only 2 sacks. Looks like he only gave up, 8 sacks over 4 seasons as the starter for Clemson. So this is a guy who came to college young, immediately became the starter. He's got a ton of experience, a lot of starting snaps under his belt. So I like the pick, Kenny. I like the pick here at 24, taking Blake Miller.
Yeah, he's a lunch pail guy. He had he's got 101 snaps at left tackle in 2024. And between his pass block, his zone grade, his gap grade, he just seems to do everything well. And he's, again, I'm kind of going against what I usually say. I don't like jamming guys out of the position that they're normally playing, but he's a guy that adds to that group that could be in a possible position at any place across the line, really, based on how well he adapts to being an offensive lineman. He just basically can. He's just kind of a nasty guy that wants to play O-line.
Yeah, I like it, man, because again, immediately became the starter. So we're talking 18 years old. He's only 22 right now, so he was young, got the starting spot, held it down. I don't know has he missed any games in college? It looks like he's played damn near every game. He seems to be an Iron Man. available, reliable, 6'7", 320 pounds almost, 34 and a quarter inch arm. So he's over that 34 inch. You don't have to worry about trying to move him into guard because his arms are too short and all that kind of stuff. I'm liking this pick, Kenny.
Yeah, he's just a strong dude that plays football, you know?
I agree. Okay, so pick 24 in the books. I went with, who did I go with, man? It's been so long since we even talked about it. I went with Caleb Lomu. Okay, I got my left tackle here at 24 out of Utah. And Kenny decided to go with Blake Miller, the offensive tackle out of Clemson. Okay, so since I picked first last, you get to pick first this time. There's some interesting names now. This is where the draft definitely gets interesting, doing it based off of these simulators, because I got people on my board that I'm surprised are there, and there's people on your board I'm shocked too. So where do you go at pick 39?
Oh man, that's interesting. Let me take a look who I got here. Man, I guess I'd have to stick on the offensive line and go with Pregnon, the guard.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, we got Tevin Jenkins, right?
Yep.
And I need some competition there, and I need to solidify that line. And I'm just looking for my notes on him here. And but he'd be a pick for me. Let me see here. I gotta just find him. There we go. Oh, he was so high on my list and he's so low on this one. That's why I couldn't find him. But he fits for the Browns. Just physically reliable guy, interior lineman, enough explosiveness to offer something in the next level as far as getting to the linebackers. So, I mean, like I was saying, he gives you interior strength, run game movement, pass protection ability, also reliable from drive to function. He feels like, even it says in here in my notes, I was saying that I don't know if we would draft him at 24, and I guess we're not. We're drafting him at 39. So that's kind of the guy that I'm looking for. Also, just want to look a little bit more on my notes here. Where are we? I just want to get the PFF stuff on him. But yeah, he's a guy that constantly comes to me in my draft. And so this guy here is 6'5", he's 318. So he's big enough. He's got enough beef on his bones. And as far as run blocking ability, his score is 85.8 and his pass blocks 88.1.
Those are huge numbers, man. The run blocking one just jumps off the screen. That's huge. Yeah,
that is huge. And like, this is also like left guard, you know, like take a look at the snaps in 2025, 849, in 2024, 882, in 2023, 773. He's consistent. He's always playing. He's not hurt. So this is a guy, and especially the way with our offensive line and what we've got out of Joel Bitonio, you know, this is a guy that plays all the time. Big dude. Looks like this is something that we can mold into for a second contract as well. So gritty offensive lineman that can push people around. I got to have this guy on my team.
Yeah, you just took back-to-back offensive linemen who are extremely experienced in college over their career. This guy started at Wyoming, transferred to USC for 2 seasons, and then finished out last year at Oregon. And like you said, just has played a ton of snaps. And what's impressive to me, just going back to what he's done in the pass protection game, last year at Oregon, 471 pass blocking snaps, only 5 pressures allowed, just 1 sack. He's only given up 3 sacks in his college football career, and that is over 1,825 pass blocking snaps. Oh, damn near 2,000 pass blocking snaps, and only 3 sacks allowed. This is a good pick, Kenny.
Yeah, two very strong guys as well, like strong, nasty defensive lineman or offensive lineman, I meant to say. And yeah, that's how I want to see this line.
Me too, man. Me too. And you know, with the versatility of Elkton Jenkins, you know, you could have the luxury of letting Blake Miller transition over to left tackle. It might be a little bit of a slow get up for him over there as he works through it. But like you said, if he's got the effort and the motor and the nasty, he should be able to make that transition, or at least we hope. Do you want to stick another rookie right beside him? Do you want to put the rookie here Pregnon over at right guard and let Elkton Jenkins play left guard maybe for this first season, and then maybe move Pregnon over to left guard next year. The Browns have all kinds of they've set themselves up for some flexibility here. Is kind of the point I'm getting at. So I like what you're doing here.
Yeah, it's just a big pot of clay, and you're just trying to mold something. So throw all the talent you can in it.
Yes. So now over on my board here for pick 39, Pregnon is on my board as well. If I wanted to go a different guard, I could go Chase Besantes. Jacob Rodriguez, the linebacker from Texas Tech, is on here. Let's see. C.J. Allen, the Georgia linebacker, has fallen out of the first round, and he's available here at pick 39. But so has post-combine riser Omar Cooper Jr., the wide receiver from Indiana, and Casey Concepcion, the wide receiver from Texas A&M. Both fell out of the first round. Sitting here at 39, I did not take a wide receiver in the first round, which goes against everything I've been preaching. But then again, you stole my Cardinal Tate at 6, so I was kind of screwed there anyhow. I got Omar Cooper Jr. here at 39. I'm taking him. And I don't know how much I really need to talk about OCJ coming to Cleveland, but he's a dog. The dude is a menace on the field. He's a lot of fun to watch. He's a great wide receiver. And I'll just kind of go through his stats. I mean, 6 foot, 205 pounds. So he's a good size for a slot wide receiver. He ran 83% of his routes out of the slot, but he can go outside, almost 16% of his routes run out wide. 69 receptions on 91 targets, 973 yards, 13 touchdowns for that Indiana National Championship team last year. He is awesome after the catch, a 7.2 yards after catch per reception, 494 total yards after the catch, had a 2.55 yards per route run. Only 3 drops all season. Contested catch, he's okay, 7 of 14, 50% rate, but his ability to make guys miss after the catch is what I love about this guy. 27 missed tackles forced on the season last year. He's very hard to bring down once you get the ball in his hand, and I'm excited to see what he could be for the Browns in that wide receiver room.
Yeah, man, I had him high on my list, and when I saw him at 24, I was thinking about going back-to-back receiver, to be real with you. And he just seems like a baller, and another guy that we want with contested catches. Like, I like that pick, and I just couldn't find enough on him, and it's hard with receivers to know if they're going to be great blockers. I think he gave the effort at Indiana for it. I just couldn't find really any information on that, and it's always something I'm kind of looking for.
Yeah, receivers blocking, especially coming out of college, it's usually there are guys that come out and are proven good run blockers. A lot of guys need work in that department. Mm-hmm. And again, I'm not really 100% sure where he falls on that list either as far as blocking, but to get him at 39, I think would be a steal.
Oh man, absolutely. You're running up with that card.
Yeah. Especially the way my first round went, going Jeremiah Love and then Caleb Lomu, still to get Omar Cooper at 39. I feel really good about that. So pick 39, Kenny goes Emmanuel Pregnon, the offensive guard out of Oregon, and I took Omar Cooper Jr., wide receiver from Indiana. So that moves us now to pick 70 in the draft, and both of our draft boards are very interesting, but I guess I'm first on this one, aren't I? You went first on 39, so I get to go first here at 70. Mm-hmm. And my draft board is complicated, man, for me. It really is. I'm looking at it going, D'Angelo Pons, cornerback out of Indiana. Oh, that's a great pick. Eli Stowers, tight end out of Vanderbilt. Talk about an offensive weapon, just like a Harold Fannin Jr. was last year. I would love to get Eli Stowers. Gabe Jacobs, the edge rusher from Illinois. This is going to be hard to pass up. I've got Jennings Dunker, the offensive lineman. He'll probably play guard out of Iowa. I'm not a big fan of Zachariah Branch out of Georgia, the wide receiver. Keontae Scott, another cornerback. This guy out of Miami, I like him too. This one's tough for me, Kenny. I think I'm going to just stick with the top of the board, though, and I'm going to take D'Angelo Pons. I think that while he is undersized, I know he's a smaller cornerback and everything like that, but he was so good for Indiana. I'm actually taking back-to-back Indiana players here, which is interesting. I'm just trying to bring up his prospect profile here real quick to get the exact. So he's 5'9", 182, and let's see, a good perimeter cornerback, but man, he's so confident. His coverage skills are great. And I just think that when you're talking about guys with effort, guys with the nasty and the mentality to go out there and play strong, play tough, it would be really difficult to pass on D'Angelo Pons here.
Oh, dude, I 100% agree. You know what? I'm kind of jealous of you right now. I don't see that guy on mine.
No, he's gone on your board.
I have him at 39.
Okay.
Up in that part. And the reason is it's like a 2-for-1. You get special teams, and then he fills that nickel role for me. That's how I would want to play him, right?
Yeah. He can definitely play that nickel role, which I think will be coming in here with Denzel Ward and Tyson Campbell handling the outside cornerback slots. I think D'Angelo Pons would be an excellent fit, especially right away as a rookie, where his role would be. And like you said, contributing on special teams and not having to be like the guy right off the rip in the NFL would be really good for him. So I'm very tickled that he was on the board whenever I got to pick here at 70. That's crazy.
Yeah, man, that's an awesome pick, dude. That's a fast guy, a special teams ace, and a guy that can lock down at corner. I think just some of his size concerns, he's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder too.
Oh yeah, for sure he does. And he just plays bigger than that size. And yes, size matters. Dylan Gabriel. I mean, there are some positions where size really will restrict what you can do. Mm-hmm. I just don't think that's going to be the case with Pons.
I don't think so either. And there's enough guys that have been in the league at his size. I mean, I think a Dre Bly or something along that lines that they just stick around and they make things happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's my pick at 70. I got real lucky with that one. So let's look at the board for you at 70. Let me know if you want me to scroll down, but
scrolled, like I want to fill my nickel role, and you've already kind of filled it. So if we just stay right here, I'm going to look at, man, you got a couple. You know what? I'm not going to overthink this again. I said I don't like my receiving crew. We didn't have a good score last year. Let's just stick with Elijah Surratt and go there.
Okay. So
he's 72, a little bit lower than our 70 pick, but we'll go with that guy. And for me, I don't have the most on him, but he was a real physical receiver, and ultimately, every show I'm always talking about Jarvis just a little bit and comparing him, and he's kind of reminds me of him just a bit. Physical blocker, he's got the size. Red zone, you can utilize him in the red zone very well. He's got technique based separation, so you don't have to teach him that. And he was pretty clutch for them, I thought. As far as concerns, there's some limited vertical threat to him, but so was there with Jarvis Landry. You just got to use him right. And the one thing that I do like is a receiver, and I'm kind of going against the grain here, a receiver with a full route tree. You would have to develop that with him, but his press release work also needs a little bit. But what I'm looking for here is just a very reliable possession receiver, which he was with the Hoosiers. And I think that would be like maybe the one elite trait that Todd Monken could kind of expose with him, getting those first downs. And that's why I would pick Elijah Surratt.
Yeah, so we took the Indiana receivers. I got Omar Cooper Jr. a little bit ago, and now you're taking Elijah Surratt. You know, the thing with Surratt and why I think he's going to go a little bit later than what people thought originally when the season ended and the first mock drafts and everything were coming out. I think he's obviously, we talk about how 40 time isn't everything, clearly, but I think overall he's a little slow. I think he ran the gauntlet drill at the combine a little slow. And I think that's going to push him down. Doesn't mean he can't be a good receiver. I think he can definitely be a good outside receiver, a good possession guy that's going to get you a first down when you need it. He's going to be a good contested catch on the sideline, in the end zone. 824 yards last year on 64 receptions, 15 touchdowns. And again, not a big yards after the catch guy. He did have a 2.39 yards per route run, so he hits that mark very well. Just 3 drops like his teammate Omar Cooper Jr. So pretty sure-handed. Contested catch was only 40%, 12 out of 30. So you want to see that be a little bit better for a guy with his, play style and what you're hoping his role can be. But overall, I think to get him at pick, where are we at? This is your 70 pick, right? So yeah, I like Elijah Surratt in that range for sure, especially with our wide receiver core, because We need to replace a lot of guys.
Yeah, I mean, he's played 14 games, 13 games, and 13 games before that. And he's a guy that's played a bunch of snaps. His yards per average have been over 13 for the most part. So 12.9, 18.1, 14.6 in the last 3 seasons, over 8 touchdowns every year. I just want him to score some touchdowns and move the chains. And that's all I'm looking for. I'm not too worried about contested catches with him. His drop rate was 4.5. I mean, they're going to work on that. And but I like him versus man 89.4. Let's move those chains with Surratt.
This episode is sponsored by Butcher Box for Pets. Browns fans, Butcher Box for Pets has a deal you cannot pass up for your 4-legged family members. Right now, you get 50% off your first subscription order of the premium slow-cooked nutrition dog food or the premium fresh dog food. Just go to butcherboxforpets.com/dogs, DAWGS, and use promo code DOGS when you check out. It can get confusing because we're the dogs, we love our fellow dogs, our dog pack members, and the Dog Pound faithful. But let's not kid ourselves. The most important dogs in our lives are, well, our dogs. And they're not just pets, like I said, they're part of the family. So the question is, what are you actually feeding them? At ButcherBox, they believe in real ingredients. Their pet foods have been developed and certified by vet nutritionists to contain 0 artificial flavors or preservatives. I know our house wouldn't be the same without Odie, our 100-pound golden retriever who thinks he's a 10-pound lap dog. Absolute dumbest dog in the world, but we love him like crazy. And it gives us peace of mind knowing that we're giving him quality food instead of those factory processed blocks from the store. And speaking of the store, no need to add dog food to your shopping list ever again. ButcherBox delivers their high-quality food right to your door. Just choose the delivery schedule that you need for your dog, and you can change, modify, pause, or cancel your plan at any time. So try it out today. Your dog will love you for upgrading their meal times. ButcherBoxForPets.com/dogs and use promo code DOGS, DAWGS, to get 50% off. That's right, half off your first subscription order of the premium slow-cooked nutrition fresh dog food or the premium fresh dog food. Minimum purchase of just $34. 50% discount applies to subscription orders only. 1 use per customer, and you can cancel at any time. ButcherBoxForPets.com/dogs. That is picks 6 through 70. So let's just take a quick break. We'll look at these selections real fast. The first 4 picks of the draft. So I have Jeremiah Love, Caleb Lomu, Omar Cooper Jr., and D'Angelo Pons. On the other board, Kenny has Carnell Tate, Blake Miller, Emmanuel Pregnone, and Elijah Surratt. So we have, what do we got? 4 picks left, 107, 141, 146, and 149. We'll bounce back over here to the player list. Kenny, if I'm not mistaken, you are up first.
You know what? Who do we have for tight end?
So if you want to look at tight end, here, I can just sort by that. So your tight end, you got Justin Jolly, and then you got Oscar Delp, Joe Royer, Tanner Koziel. Those are the guys on the board right now.
Okay, so we're at 1-4. You know what? Let's go
107. We're at 107.
107, and I'm gonna go town. I'll because I got the notes. Let's go Justin Jolly. I liked a lot of the tight ends. I want somebody that can, block. But right now, I'm going to develop somebody. This guy's a guy that has gone up every year as far as his playing. So his overall grade went from 70.4 to 70.5, then to 77.9. His receiving grade is 81.6. He doesn't have that. He's a 1.7 on routes per run, but 2% drop rate, 60% contested catch rate. The other thing is with a blocker as a tight end, he's 56.3. He shows some willingness, but he's a guy that I like. He played really well in the Senior Bowl and really showed up against everybody. And I like his 6'3" frame with his 263 pounds on it. He's under 22 years, just slightly at 21.7 is what they have him for his age. And with this guy, I just think he'd be a fantastic pick for the guys, just a move around receiving tight end with enough blocking to stay viable in the run game. So he's kind of I think he would be the complement to Fannin between Stoll, and I'd like to fit him right in there.
Yeah, I like it. We obviously need help at tight end. It's not going to be just Harold Fannin Jr. and Jack Stahl. That's not how it's going to be. So there's going to be additions, whether it's in the draft like this, mid-round, late round, UDFA, free agent signing over the summer, early part or late part of the spring. They're bringing in more tight ends. So that's definitely going to happen. I like your pick here with Justin Jolly. He's actually a guy that Barry Shuck highlighted from the Senior Bowl as a kid who impressed him down there in Mobile. So I think that's a good pick.
Yeah, I like he's just a big red zone producer, and I don't know if you caught that from my two other picks in receiver, but like they get a lot of accolades as guys that score touchdowns, and that's what I'm looking for. Subtle separation up through the seam, and uses stutter steps, tempo changers to like get uncovered basically. And I like what he did again in the combine, and not in the combine, sorry, in the Senior Bowl. And I just think that what he showed against the best talent can show up for the Browns.
Yep, I agree. And so then moving over to my board for pick 107, there's some names here I'm really interested in that I really like. I love the two wide receivers at the top of my board. It's hard for me to pass on those guys. They are the smaller school guys. They are the guys that I'm not sure Andrew Barry's going to have that much interest in. It's Ted Hurst out of Georgia State, Skylar Bell out of UConn. I would be really happy to get either of those guys on the roster, but I really need a safety because as much as I've been assuming the Browns are going to work things out and bring back Ronnie Hickman, who they tendered, the initial reporting on Ronnie Hickman, I wanted to mention this at some point, was false. Everybody was reporting, all the beat reporters, that the Browns placed a second-round tender on Ronnie Hickman. And I was like, well, that just locks him into the Browns. Nobody's going to give him a bigger contract and fork over a second-round pick to get Ronnie Hickman. But that was actually misreported. It was just a right of first refusal tender, meaning another team can negotiate a contract with Ronnie Hickman, but the Browns have the right to match that offer sheet and then sign Ronnie Hickman over the other team. And if they don't, then obviously Hickman goes to the other team, and there is no draft capital compensation. So I was misled, just like everybody else was, about that reporting. So there is no second-round tender for Ronnie Hickman, which makes it more likely now, or at least less likely, that, less certain, I should say, that he's going to be back. I want a free safety, and I'm looking at Genesis Smith, who I really like, but Jalen Kilgore's also on the board here, and I'm actually going to take Jalen Kilgore out of South Carolina, 6'1", 210 pounds. This is a big, lengthy defensive back. He can play, nickel down safety. He's played the star role according to NFL Draft Profile here. He's good at covering the slot receivers, run support. He can contain the run game, covers these tight ends. I think he could be a good addition to the Browns defensive backfield. He's highly productive in college. He's a good ball hawk. It's the kind of safety that I need added to the defense.
Yeah, and he basically, you put it right there. When you're drafting in the position you're drafting, you're taking guys with stuff you can't teach him. You can't teach size. And that's a great addition for special teams and for development for the secondary.
Yeah, absolutely. So that moves us then out of the top 100 range of the draft, and now we're rolling into, I think this is all fifth round now, 141, 146, 149 on the board. I haven't even taken a good look at my board. So Justin Jolly, actually, Kenny, is still on the board for me at tight end, and now that we're at a different pick, I could take him. That wouldn't break the rules. I'm definitely not interested in Carson Beck, the quarterback from Miami. Drew Aller, the quarterback from Penn State, is here. I know some people might be saying, well, take a swing on Drew Aller here in the fifth round. I already said I'm not going to do that. I am between Oscar Delp, the tight end out of Georgia, and I'm between Markel Bell here, the offensive tackle out of Miami. But since these picks are so clustered together, I have a pretty good feeling that I could get both of these guys, unless you take one of them. And I'm going to take Oscar Delp here. I want to make sure I get my tight end. I like this kid out of Georgia. He's got a relationship with Todd Monken. He said at the combine, one of the main reasons he went to Georgia was to play for Todd Monken. He loves that relationship. He would love to play for him again in Cleveland. So this guy is 6'5", 245 pounds. Just a good athlete. I think he's underrated, underutilized in the passing game as a weapon. He's obviously got a little bit of work to do in the blocking game, excuse me, but a lot of these tight ends will need a little refinement. And I trust Paul Warhop and some of the coaches that are now on Todd Monken's staff to get that blocking prowess more out of him. But I think what he can offer you in the passing game would be a great complement with Harold Fannin Jr. He's got that great size, great red zone threat. And obviously, if you need somebody to come in just to run block early on in this guy's career, you got Jack Stahl. So I feel confident with Oscar Delp here.
Yeah, I mean, Oscar Delp, for me, just quick notes, useful for play action, running the seams, and just multiple offensive sets that you can put him in based on his versatility.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for the addition there as well on that. So I took Oscar Delp at 141. Kenny, your 141 pick. You're up next. So here's your draft board, and let me know if you want me to scroll.
I have notes, but I don't have notes. Take Deontay Corleone.
Okay.
And the reason is he's a little bit older. He's almost 24, and he's 6'1", a little short, but he's at 335 pounds. And in looking at him, he's a guy that is not going to rush, but his 80.9 defensive grade against the run is what I'm kind of betting on with that guy. I just need him. He's going to kind of compete with Davis. They're going to do the same thing. And I like the fact that you're not going to teach that 335 pounds. And I'm kind of just betting on that guy for that size to stop the run.
Yeah, so Dante Corleone, defensive tackle out of Cincinnati, like you said, 340 pounds. That is a big gap stuffer. Now, he's a little smaller, a little undersized as far as his height, just 6'1.5" is what he measured in at. But I think that's a great point with Kalia Davis being signed for that interior. I think the Browns could very possibly go defensive tackle at some point in this draft, especially, and I keep harping on it, I don't know what we have with Mike Hall Jr. I don't know as far as him being in the rotation. I know he's a little bit more on the pass rush side of a rotation for the interior, but he just hasn't been available, hasn't been effective. The Browns used the second-round pick on him, and I just feel like this is kind of make or break year for Mike Hall. If it doesn't come together here in year 3, because then next year's it for him on his rookie deal, and I think you'll just kind of see him float off into the sunset. Might be a one-and-done kind of guy as far as contract in the NFL, but he's got to get it together.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to see a guy that got into some issues with relationship issues, kind of set him off track, and it's a guy that, Stefanski, when he was here, kind of compared him to John Randall, and we haven't seen anything close to that. That's part of the basis where I'm picking a defensive tackle that I can possibly develop. I know run integrity has been a bit of a problem with the Browns, so I need a big guy that's a run stuffer and somebody that I can develop.
Yeah. Nope, I like the pick, and then you stay on the clock here at 146. So who would your next pick be based on how your draft board's shaping up?
Man, I got to stick with some bodies in the trenches, and I want some more competition. I'm going to take Austin Barber.
Oh, good pick. Good pick. Offensive tackle out of Florida. Yep.
Yeah. So with him, he's a big guy, and I like Markel Bell. I don't think I saw him in mine. But he's a guy, again, that I would just think that he's a dog. He's a guy that's going to be on the offensive line. He is a tackle now. What the Browns envision him on the offensive line and where they fit him could be maybe anywhere, but I would want him behind our new right tackle, and we just figure it out from there, basically.
Yep, Austin Barber, again, a Barry Shuck highlight from the Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
5 seasons at Florida. I think he probably redshirted that first year. So it looks like 4 years as the starter, almost 1,500 pass blocking snaps in his career, over 2,700 total snaps played. Again, Kenny's getting all of these offensive linemen who are just extremely experienced. Big guys, strong guys, nasty guys. And I think Austin Barber would be a great one here. Just 17 pressures allowed and only 3 sacks in 2025, only 2 sacks the year prior. So pretty consistent. And I think to get him here in the 5th round, I like Austin Barber in the 5th round. I've always liked that.
Yeah, I mean, again, like just a big dude that you can't teach that stuff. So let's get Warhop to mold him into something on our offensive line. You know what? I forgot to highlight his 90. It was his 90 rating in his run blocking with PFF. That was the big thing with him that I liked.
Okay, well that's that is a big deal. All right, so then we'll move on here. Pick 140. Man, I'm getting so confused here. What are we at? So you just went. All right, so I got 146. Pick 146. Kenny just made his selection with Austin Barber. I'm going to also go back to the trenches, and I'm kind of torn here. I got a couple guys I like. I'm looking at, and it's obviously Markel Bell, who I just talked about the last pick. The Browns did host him for a top 30 visit already. He played left tackle for the Miami Hurricanes. He's a big, just 6'9", 360-some pound guy. He's very DeJuan Jones-esque. But I'm actually going to pass on him, and I'm going to go left guard or interior offensive lineman, Bo Stevens from Iowa, a guy that
he's good.
You got him on your list too?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he's another one that's been in college for a while. Has got a lot of experience. And last season in 2025, 304 pass blocking snaps, gave up 4 pressures and 0 sacks. Just a 91.6 pass blocking grade, super high level for him, and an 83 run block grade. I know we've been harping on these high run block grades. Anything in the 80s and above is impressive. You get into like the 90 range and then you're elite. But a lot of these guys hover in the high 60s, maybe 70 if you're pretty good at run blocking, but this guy was in 83. I'm excited to add Bo Stevens. I think that he could be a guy that could come in. Obviously, he wouldn't be asked to start right away, but unlike Zach Zinter, I think there's a better chance of Bo Stevens developing into a starting guard for you over the next year or two.
Yeah, he's been high on mine for the exact same reasons. Typically, if it's tight ends and O-line out of Iowa, you usually get good value at that point in the draft, really.
Yep. Nope. I definitely agree. So that's who I'm taking here. And then I think that puts us to our very last pick, 149. Okay, so this is where things get, obviously we're late in the draft. It's almost more dart throw type things, but you want to make sure you get players that can play and help you on special teams at minimum their first year. Markel Bell for me is still on the board. I should probably just take him and infuse a lot of youth into my offensive line here in Cleveland. Drew Aller's still on the board. So everybody, Jared Muller saying Drew Aller's probably going in the 2nd or 3rd round on day 2. Did not happen here. Dante Corleone, and Justin Jolly, who Kenny took a couple picks ago, is still available for me on my board. There's some decent options here, but a guy that I've got my eye on and I think I have to pull the trigger on, and I might say his name wrong, but it's Bryce Botcher, linebacker out of Oregon. I think that he is being undervalued here to get him at 149.
Yeah, I like him. I mean, he's a guy that can back up our new acquisition from the Jets, and we need some more linebackers. Diabate was a guy that signed with the Titans today, so he's not coming back, and we just need more depth and more competition.
Yeah, for sure. So linebacker out of Oregon, like I said, here in 2025, he had 94 tackles, and it looks like he had 2 sacks. I don't have the TFLs pulled up for him on PFF here because they don't have that. But, in coverage, it looks like he does a decent job. He had a pick, 3 pass breakups, didn't give up any touchdowns or anything like that. And linebacker's a spot, especially this late in the draft, where you can get a guy like Bryce Botcher. And I know he has been talked about as being underrated at the linebacker position in this draft. So I'm taking him here. I'm adding him to that rotation. You've got a dude, your main dude in Carson Schlesinger. And Quincy Williams is the perfect complement on the outside because Carson's going to man the middle linebacker role. And I think Botcher offers you a little bit of both. I think he's primarily the middle linebacker, so he could be good support, a good depth piece behind Carson Schlesinger, and he'll also be on the field at times along with those guys, depending on what the defensive lineup looks like during the game and situational. But I think special teams primarily to start out. I'm very happy getting him here at pick 149. This episode is sponsored by Vivid Seats. Browns fans, the football season might be over, but Vivid Seats has you covered for everything else that's going on as we get into 2026. We've got basketball, NBA, college, hockey games, the spring football leagues, baseball's right around the corner, and of course, all the best events like concerts, theater plays and musicals, and comedy shows. And right now, you can get $20 off your first Vivid Seats order of $200 or more with promo code DOGS20. That's promo code DOGS20, DAWGS20. Not only is Vivid Seats an official fan experience partner of the Cleveland Browns, they're also the only leading ticket company with a rewards program. Buy 10 tickets and get the 11th free. So every time you make a purchase, you get closer to earning discounts, seat upgrades, and free tickets. Every purchase on Vivid Seats is backed by their 100% buyer guarantee and industry-leading customer service team. So click the link in the description to download the Vivid Seats app now. And again, get $20 off your first Vivid Seats order of $200 or more with promo code DOGS20, DAWGS20. New customers only, $200 minimum before taxes and fees. Visit vividseats.com for more details. All right, so Kenny gets to round out. You got to start the draft with Carnell Tate, and now you're going to end the draft with your pick 149. Who's it going to be?
Yeah, there's a bunch of guys here, and I'm like, I did say at the beginning of the draft that I wanted to address the nickel position, and what we have here. I'll go for the top guy on the board, I guess, at this point, and that would be Will Lee III.
Okay.
And he's a guy, again, he's got tons of games played, lots of experience, and he's a guy that I would want to fit into that position of nickelback. He's 6'1", where he's got the height, but he's only 189 pounds. He's just under 23 years old. He's a senior with lots of experience, and I'm going to bank on him for that, playing nickel, and then also I want him on special teams.
I like that pick. Cornerback out of Texas A&M. Again, special teams kind of starting out, but he can slot into the rotation because right now it's, what do we have at cornerback? Really, I know we signed a couple free agents and guys, but they're primarily the Daniel Thomas, the Trey Avery. These guys are special teamers. That is their role. If you're relying on them as your top depth at the cornerback position, you're setting yourself up for failure. And we know, as much as we love Denzel Ward and even Tyson Campbell, they're going to miss time. Cornerbacks in the NFL miss time. You're going to have concussion with Denzel Ward. You're going to have a hamstring or a little calf tweak or something with one. Like, it just happens every year, every team. We know that.
Absolutely, man. The ideal scheme for him is heavy man or quarters coverage, and that's basically what Rutenberg runs. So let's fit him in, create some competition again, and see what this kid can do.
All right, so that wraps up our dueling mock draft today. Let's go through the results. So on the left side of the screen, my board came out. We'll just do the names, the positions, and what grade that mock draft database gave us on each pick. So I went Jeremiah Love, running back out of Notre Dame at 6. That was a B+ pick. Kenny went Carnell Tate, wide receiver out of Ohio State. That was an A pick for him. Pick 24, I went Caleb Lomu, offensive tackle out of Utah. That got me an A+. Kenny went Blake Miller, the offensive tackle out of Clemson, got him an A. So it looks like our first rounds went pretty well for us. 39 for me was Omar Cooper Jr., wide receiver from Indiana, got an A+ grade. Kenny went with Emmanuel Pregnon, the offensive guard out of Oregon, got him a B. At 70, I went D'Angelo Pons, the cornerback from Indiana, got me an A+. Kenny went Elijah Surratt, wide receiver out of Indiana. So a lot of Indiana guys getting drafted here. That got Kenny a B at pick 70. The big difference here, I went Jalen Kilgore, the safety out of South Carolina at 107, got me an A. Kenny went Justin Jolly, tight end out of NC State, got him a C+. That was probably the worst or lowest grade either of us got on this draft. That's okay.
I guess I panicked.
And again, this is just a simulator, so we'll find out in April here where these guys really go and how the NFL values them. But then moving on to 141, I went Oscar Delp, got my tight end out of Georgia. That was an A grade at 141. Kenny went Dante Corleone, defensive tackle out of Cincinnati, and he also got an A grade. 146, I went Bo Stevens, offensive guard out of Iowa, got me another A+, so the simulator really liked that pick. Kenny went offensive line at 146. It was tackle Austin Barber from Florida, got him a B+, even though I like Austin Barber more than just a B+ at 146, Kenny. And then at 149 to wrap things up, I went Bryce Botcher, the linebacker out of Oregon, got an A grade, and Kenny ends the draft with an A+, Will Lee the third cornerback out of Texas A&M. So let us know what you guys think in the chat or in the comments. How did we do? Who had the better draft and why? Kenny, any closing thoughts here on these drafts?
You know what? I just stuck to what I said I was going to do. I got 2 receivers because I don't like my receiver room. I think I added enough offensive line depth. I got my nickel. I got my backup tight end. So I got what I wanted. I don't care what they gave me for grades. I feel good and confident about what I have.
Yeah, and my draft honestly went different, and that's when you're doing these. When I do a lot of my mocks, I'm going through mock draft database. I'm analyzing who could be available or is projected to be available at each pick, and building my draft board that way. Whenever it's like you're on the clock, boom, 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 going through a simulator, it gets a little difficult, and weird things happen. And I did not expect to be taking Jeremiah Love at 6, but per the rules, I could not take Carnell Tate. I could have gone with Monroe Freeling. I could have gone with Mekhi Lemon, but I just had to take Jeremiah Love there. And that led me to only get 1 wide receiver in this draft, which I would not want that to be the result for the Browns. I want to get 2. But the way it fell, getting Omar Cooper 39, and just the players available at all these other picks. I mean, Pons, Kilgore, getting Delp, and then taking receiver versus taking a guy like Bo Stevens in the 5th round. Give me the lineman. Give me the lineman with the upside.
Yeah, I mean, out of it, I was just curious, is there any player that you maybe have been mocking a lot, or maybe under these picks in round 6 and 7 that you want the Browns to take, or you keep something intriguing?
You mean just like late round flyers and things like that?
Yeah, something along that line, something you really like. Like, I keep hearing the Browns just are enamored with this Jeff Caldwell receiver out of Cincinnati, and it just has to do with the metrics. He is big, he's got weight, he can run, but he does not have a route tree. He's just an athlete that can, dominate over the kind of non-athletes or people less athletic than himself at Cincinnati.
Yeah, no, those are interesting names. I mean, Jeff Caldwell, I don't know a ton about him. I know he's kind of like a post-combine riser among the community, but he started his career, he was in the FCS, I think, wasn't he, for the first 3 seasons, and then made the transition to Cincinnati in Division I. Am I right about that?
Yeah, he's a guy that I think was a soccer player, and someone saw his natural gifts as an athlete and said, you should be on a football team. He did that, and he just played last year, but he's got rare size and speed combination. Route tree is very inconsistent though, and needs work. So you're kind of taking a flyer on him, like we said, and but he's a very, very clear, like kind of a high RAS guy, I'm sure, based on speed and size. And
yeah,
that's something you're looking for.
I don't hate it if it's a late round flyer. If you're 5th round, he's there. Browns want to take a stab at it. That's cool. I just think there's too many other needs, and we got to make sure we hit on these earlier picks, definitely the 1st, 2nd, 3rd round, even the 4th round. I just want to make sure I'm getting guys that can contribute, and we're very confident in their ability. As a guy like Caldwell, it's almost like a coin flip. It could work, it could not work. I'm okay with that later on. The one thing that would make me mad, and I think I speak for the entire Dogs podcast when I say it, on draft night, April 23rd, make sure you guys tune into our live stream. We'll be there for the entire 1st round. And if at 6 or 24, and I've heard some chatter about both spots, potentially being a place where you could see Ty Simpson's name get called, quarterback out of Alabama. And I just think it would be a huge mistake for the Browns to do that this year. I don't think having a lack of quarterback options in the draft is a good reason to force one early. That, 1-year starter at Alabama, things started off well, dealt with some injuries. There's some inexplainable things happened over the back half of that year for him. I just don't know if he has, and you talk about all the time with Todd, I don't know if he has the one elite trait. I think he can play pretty well over the middle of the field. I think he's got some decent accuracy. But I just don't know if he's got any elite trait that is worth taking in the first round. But I keep seeing him mentioned with the Browns in the first round, and it scares me.
Yeah, I want nothing to do with it. And we're near the end of this episode, and we haven't even mentioned quarterback because we know we need to set something up for a quarterback to succeed. We did not have that last year. We had one of the worst rated games against the Chicago Bears for offensive efficiency in the history of the league. And you need to develop your offensive line. Then once you have that cohesiveness and allow receivers to use their God-given strengths or abilities to separate, then you can figure out what you have behind center.
I agree with you 100%, Kenny. And as it's setting up right now, I'm very pleased. I'm okay. I'm great with it. Like, I am great with giving Shedeur Sanders the opportunity because I did a podcast the other day with the UK Browns fan, and we were talking about this quarterback competition, or in quotes, quarterback competition that the Browns are talking about. Of course, they're going to say that right now because you never know what sort of opportunity is going to fall into your lap between now and training camp. What if a Kyler Murray gets cut and says, I want to go play for Todd Monken in Cleveland? I know that wasn't going to happen, but what if a situation like that transpires, but you've already publicly said, we're sticking with Shedeur. We're going to give him the opportunity. Well, now you really can't do that, or else you're going to look terrible to all the other players in your locker room, and anybody thinking they want to come to Cleveland is going to say, well, you can't trust anything out of their mouth. So, of course, they're going to say quarterback competition, but I think Shedeur was an Andrew Berry pick, and I think they already saw him in a quarterback competition last year. And I think he did better in that competition than what the depth chart starting out the season showed. And Andrew Berry did what he had to do to move him up the depth chart. He traded away Kenny Pickett. He traded away Joe Flacco. And it was just a matter of time until Shedeur got on the field, and then he never came off once he did. And I think the quarterback competition has already been held with Shedeur Sanders, and that was last year. He won it. He earned it. And I don't think they're going to say that right now.
No.
But I think he is, at the moment, it's his job to lose.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just gets back to what I said. He just didn't have much to work with.
Nothing.
And get him these players that you and I selected, or a combination of them, and let's see what we can do.
Absolutely.
With a better offensive system that we think we're going to get from Monken.
Well, it can't be a whole lot worse, Kenny. It can't be a whole lot worse, even if it is. But I've got a feeling it's going to be at least a little better, if not significantly improved this year. So we're excited to see what happens in April. Let us know what you guys think about our dueling mock draft here. Did you guys enjoy this episode? Did you think it was a fun exercise? And if so, we'll do another one down the road here. Again, we've got, 4 weeks or so until the draft. Kenny's going to be in studio with us live April 23rd. We're going to kick things off at 7:45 p.m. You do a little ramp up, a little preview show, probably hit a quick break, and then the first round is going to kick off, and we'll be with you guys the entire night. It's going to be a ton of fun. Looking forward to that. And let us know who won, who had the better mock draft results out of this dueling battle that we just did. Kenny, any last thoughts before we end the show?
No, man, I'm happy with what it came. It's kind of fun. It's always fun when we do this. It's fun. It's you kind of get a little bit of the what they go through on the day when you're actually on the clock, right? Because sometimes, like, we knew where we wanted to go, but you could tell, like, at pick 107, I was like, oh man, I don't have anything. What am I going to do? And obviously we don't have the ability to trade down or move it around too much because we're, trying to get this done within an hour too. So that was fun, and you kind of get to feel like you were actually drafting.
Yeah, nope. It's a fun exercise. We try to do this every season, to do these dueling mock drafts. And again, if you guys really enjoyed this and you pound the table for it, let us know, because we'll find some time and do another one. It was a lot of fun. But Kenny, thanks for doing this with me today, joining the show as always. I know the fans love to hear from you, and I think we came away with a couple good mocks here. So we'll see who's is preferred by the audience.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks again for tuning in, guys. Head to jointhedogs.com if you want to be part of our Discord community in the Dog Pack, and you can talk about the results of this draft. And there's all kinds of mock drafts being floated around in the Discord, and draft talk and free agents and anything and everything you want to talk about with Cleveland Browns football, you can do in the Discord. So head to jointhedogs.com. For Kenny, for me, we'll talk to you guys in the next one. Let's go Browns.
Let's go Brownies. Hoo, 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 hoo.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at the Dogs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedogspodcast.com.
This episode is sponsored by ISSA. Browns fans, if you're into health and fitness, have you ever wondered how you could maybe turn those hobbies and your passion into an actual career? If that sounds interesting to you, then ISSA has the opportunity you've been looking for. ISSA is the International Sports Science Association, and they can help you become a certified personal trainer in as little as 3 months. And right now you can get $100 off your certification when you sign up through our link, joinissa.com/dogs, DAWGS. Now, certifications are 100% online, self-study, and self-paced. You can study anywhere from your phone, tablet, or computer. And the final exam is open note, open book, aka piece of cake. Except you fitness nuts probably don't eat a ton of cake, so let's just call it a piece of delicious protein bar. And ISSA has the #1 job guarantee in the industry. If you get certified and sign up to be a certified trainer with ISSA, you have a job guarantee or your money back. ISSA has over 10,000 gym partners that have over 73,000 open jobs for trainers right now. And you don't need a 4-year degree or a 2-year degree. You just need your certification to qualify for these jobs. So what are you waiting for? With certification this simple, there's no excuse not to pursue your passion and become a certified personal trainer today. Get $100 off your certification at joinissa.com/dogs. You've wanted to make a change long enough. Now it's time to do something about it. That's joinissa.com/dogs for $100 off your personal trainer certification.